Okay, hello everyone. My name is Valentina Ananieva. I work for the International Department at CNM, College of Naturopathic Medicine. I am a student myself. I study nutrition and graduate in just two months from now. Really enjoying my training. And today I would like to introduce you our beautiful and very successful graduate, Marion. Hi, Marion.
Hi, Valentina.
How are you today?
Good, thank you. Thank you for letting me speak today.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Could you just tell a bit about yourself? Where are you from originally and where do you live at the moment?
Yeah, so my name is Marion, and I am French and live in Paris right now.
Okay, brilliant. And why did you decide to study nutrition? Did you have any background in medicine or science?
No, not really. I did well in France. When you get out of what it's called high school, you do a specialty. My specialty was biomedicine, so I kind of knew a little bit about all that. But after that, I did literature, English, Spanish, and then communications and political communications, so all kinds of different things, really. But during all that time, I had a growing interest in the effect on food on our health. And when I left my parents' house to go and study in Paris, I had to cook for myself. So I began searching for healthy recipes, and I got to read articles about why this specific recipe was good for you. So that's when I totally switched my mindset towards food. Before that, I was thinking that food was something that was potentially going to make me fat. And from then on, I realized that food was fuel that was going to do me good, and that was going to give me energy and enable all kinds of chemical reactions in my body to take place. So that was the starting point. And from then on, I also had a lot of symptoms, adult acne, hair loss, terrible period pains, and I tried to reduce them with what I knew about food, but without much success, despite doing all the right things. And then I was working as a communications consultant in food startups in Paris, and I burnt out pretty soon, and that was the time for me to reflect on what I wanted to do with my life. And this was the perfect time to say, well, it's the time to jump and go back to school and study nutrition and make a career out of it. So that was kind of the whole process, which was a bit messy, but you get the idea.
Was it difficult to decide that you want to study nutrition in particular, or did you think about other pathways as well?
Well, not really. I had nutrition in the back of my head for a few years back then. So it was, that's what I really wanted to do.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. Thank you. So I guess you did some research before starting your studies. You did some research, obviously. I did my research 3 years ago. And why did you choose CNM, College of Naturopathic Medicine, among other providers?
Yeah, well, I started looking in France, obviously, because I was living there. And all that I was finding was naturopathy training, which was brilliant, but it was a bit too broad for me, who had a specific interest in nutrition and how to use nutrition to improve health concerns.
So you wanted something specifically in nutrition?
Absolutely. So I looked abroad because I couldn't find anything in France, and I looked in Belgium, in the UK, and I found CNM, and at the time I found that the training seemed to be very thorough and both theoretical and practical, which made all the difference, really, because I truly thought, well, practical training is kind of mandatory if you want to practice. In terms of timetables, CNM offered to study on the weekends. It was perfect for me. I could work full-time in Paris during the week and then travel back and forth between Paris and London on the weekends. So that worked for me, and that's how I decided to go to CNM.
Brilliant. So now we also have online options, so it's even easier
Yeah.
for the students.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And would you say, like, because I know that many people ask me, there are some short courses, you know, like 6 months course in nutrition. Why would I need to study for 3 years if I can get my certificate, in like few months? And why do you think it is important to study at least for three years?
Well, once I graduated from CNM, I felt that I need to keep learning always, to
Yeah.
keep on, on top of what's going on in the field, and also to carry on educating myself, because they can't teach you everything at school. Of course, the training is very thorough, but there's always more to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how on earth you could practice with just a 6 month training. And of
Yeah.
course, it's daunting to think, well, I'm going back to school for 3 years, especially if you're an adult with a career and, I don't know, kids. But I think it's absolutely necessary, and I don't regret it at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. And why do you think, like you mentioned, there is a lot of practical hours at CNM. Why do you think it is important, like, to have these clinical hours?
Yeah, well, practical training was, I think, the most challenging part of the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the part that taught me the most personally. I don't
Yeah, I
know how
agree.
people, yeah, I don't know how people can start practicing when graduating without this practical training. It makes all the difference, because it's one thing to know all the theory, but when you get face to face with your first few real clients in the
Mm-hmm.
real
Mm-hmm.
world, if you haven't practiced before with qualified practitioners guiding you, it's very likely you won't be able to help your clients at the best of your ability. I think
Yeah.
it's something else to know the things and practice. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
did you find it useful? So when you started practicing yourself, did you find it useful that you already had that background
Yeah,
of practice?
absolutely. Because, I had a whole process in my head that we
Yeah.
were taught at CNM. So it guided me to start. And then, of course, I did a few changes so that it was more
Mm-hmm.
working for me personally, what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do. But yeah, it made all the difference, and it helped
Yeah.
me a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Brilliant. I know, I mean, your English, of course, is perfect, but was it difficult to study in English because it's not your native
Yeah.
language?
Well, I can only speak for myself, obviously, but for me, it was quite easy, because English was one of my passions. I studied it at university, and I had already written a few academic papers in English. So
Oh, wow.
I was already pretty confident, and I just had to learn the health vocabulary, which I wasn't
Yeah.
familiar with at the time. But it's quite easy, because you get so into it, and, hearing all the lecturers speak about health, you get it really quickly, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And does it help that all teachers are practitioners? So would you think it's something that helps during the studies?
Yeah, absolutely. This is highly valuable, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not only during the practical training, of course, but also during the lectures, because, lecturers that are also practitioners also share their own experience with clients during the lectures, and it's also part of the learning process, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really valuable
Yeah,
indeed.
absolutely. So they give you kind of the latest, news
Yeah,
about practicing, and the structure. Yes,
absolutely.
amazing. And uh, you said that you struggled with some health issues before you started
Yeah.
the course. Yeah, did it help yourself to improve your health?
Yeah, 100%. It made me realize that my symptoms were not just, genetic or
Mm-hmm.
a fatality that I had to deal with my own life, because, it's just how it is, really.
Yeah.
So it gave me a hint that my terrible period pain were not normal, or something I had to deal with my
Mm-hmm.
whole life.
Mm-hmm.
It was that it was maybe endometriosis. Then I got diagnosed thanks to what I learned
Yeah.
at CNM. And I also realized that my acne and hair loss were 100% connected, and that in fact I had what is called hyperandrogenism, so too much androgens. So yeah, it helped me put a name on what I had and made me realize that I could do something about it. So with what I learned at CNM, I started doing all kinds of things that made me got better. And then I did a lot of work afterwards and a lot of tests. And then today I'm much better. I don't suffer from this anymore. So yeah, it was a turning point in my health journey.
Yes, brilliant. Yeah, sometimes we think that maybe problems that we have there are normal, and we just don't investigate enough. And it's brilliant that you had all that knowledge to understand it. And what would you say is the best thing about your profession?
Well, a few things. I'd say first, helping others. Of course, I think we're all here to help ourselves and others. And, you know, especially people that have tried everything and that are psychologically very negatively impacted by their health problems and their health journey. And when those people tell you that you help them finally get better, it's just the best feeling in the world, really. And having the ability to deal with my own health issues, it's very empowering because of course I dealt with mine, but you know, life is an ongoing process and you're obviously gonna get potentially new symptoms to deal with, so that's great. And being my own boss is just a dream as well. So that's a few things for you to think about.
And do you specialize in something? Could you just
I specialize in female health because obviously I had a lot of hormonal problems myself that I overcome with nutrition. So now I'm helping others do the same.
Oh, right. Brilliant. And I know that you run a successful practice, and it's quite difficult actually to book with you. And do you work mostly online or in person, like especially now, how it all works? Because I know some graduates or some students who enroll, they fear that they are kind of, for example, you live in Paris, but someone is living in a small town, and they fear that they might not get clients. Do you also work online?
Yeah, I do both. So I have my clinic in Paris and I see lots of clients there, but I also offer Zoom consultations. And with, you know, the pandemic, it all boomed a little bit. So I did 100% online. Now I'm starting to get clients back in my clinic, but I did a lot of online consultations, which works perfectly. And I also wrote ebooks and all kinds of online content. So I do webinars, all kinds of stuff. So I don't do 100% online, but
Oh, brilliant. So you are quite busy. Amazing. And what would be your tips for people who are planning to study nutrition, or for students at the moment? Maybe they're afraid, like would they be able to practice, etc. Could you just give some tips?
Well, first I'd say be passionate about it because otherwise, don't do it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time and energy. So be passionate about it would be the first thing, because obviously it's kind of fashionable industry, I feel like. So a lot of people want to do that, but just be there because you truly love it. And know that if you want to make a career out of it, you will need to be self-employed, so kind of an entrepreneur, that will need to run a business and all sides of the business, so managing branding and communication, social media, finances, paperwork, taxes, all these stuff that can be a bit daunting, and it takes a lot of time to build it and to get to know every aspect of a business, because you will need to not only do your job as a nutritional therapist, but do all these jobs that you might not be familiar with. So it's a learning process, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. But it's a lot of work outside nutrition. But you could do it.
As everywhere, you need to be proactive, right? I follow you on Instagram, and I see how amazing you are in engaging people, and you are very proactive, a very, very nice way you actually do it.
Yeah, thank you.
And maybe like one tip from me, because sometimes we are too stuck, for example, in creating the logo, right? And we can't start doing things because we didn't create a logo. Would you say like you need to start doing your job and like do alongside maybe some branding and everything?
Yeah, obviously, because if you need to think about everything, because starting your job, it's going to be a long way ahead. So just start doing your job and do a little bit here and there. And your logo. Maybe you're happy with it now, but in 2 years' time you're going to change it. So it doesn't really matter. The matter is your message, what you help people with, what you help people achieve. So don't get stuck with branding and stuff.
Maybe you don't need to be a perfectionist, right? Just to see the progress. If you have the progress, it's great. Don't be a perfectionist.
Of course. Even myself, I started offering some kinds of services and I evolved from that, and I'm constantly changing the way I work with people and what I say on Instagram and wherever. So
do you just can I ask you about like, do you use website and social media? What are your main kind of areas where you promote yourself?
Well, I've got my website, obviously, but it's more like a platform for people who heard about me to see that, I've got, a practice. They can find me online and they can, find my prices and kind of information. But it's just there to, reassure people, really. But my main way of communicating is definitely Instagram, social media. I'm very active on Instagram, and I've got a newsletter for people who already subscribe, and that's it really. That's the main source of communications.
And you also do some talks and webinars. Is that
absolutely right? I actually started doing those, and that's what got me clients in the first place. I did little talks in cafes and healthy places and here and there, and you just gotta start small with 5 to 10 people, and then they talk to their friends, and it's just gonna come to you one way or another. But like you said, you need to be proactive, and those talks didn't came to me on their own. I had to propose them to places, and you've got to do the work, definitely.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Marion. It was very inspiring, and I'm sure you will help a lot of students and newly graduates with their new pathway. Thank you very much, and take care. We'll hope to see you again.